That's exactly right. And the most recent studies are that they're not helpful. They've tested them in thousands of HIV/AIDS patients over long periods of time. It was developed initially to say, well, we're going to increase CD4 helper cell levels, but in essence what it does is it falsely prompts the immune response that then the cells are so sick they don't really respond to HIV. They're overwhelmed, and the patients die just like every other non-treated patient.
So basically, and I've read the studies about cancer being associated with an overly active immune system, it finally just burns out, gives up. My God, this is so diabolical. And it goes back to New York City with the big Rockefeller Foundation that discovered the cancer viruses and pushed it, that controls the big medical trust that you and your affidavit are saying is running this whole operation. Stay there. Dr. Leonard Horowitz and Sherry Kane, stay with us.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
The 5 companies putting out the H1N1 flu vaccine know, the Army admits, that the adjuvants that were very similar to this put in the anthrax shot for the troops killed a bunch of people and maimed thousands. That's on record. Dr. Horowitz, am I right in saying, and also Sherry Kane, from your research, that they are fully conscious of what they're doing, A, and B, then, what is the master plan? What is the point of all of this?
Well, the actual adjuvants in the squalene that are included, there's no doubt that the scientific literature slam dunks the contraindications of these. You really, again, have the scientific agenda that says that this is more toxic than helpful. And, you know, it's kind of like the same scam of how the concentration camp victims were lulled into believing they were actually going to go in to take a shower for public health and disinfection. Here we're allegedly adding squalene adjuvant to reduce risks of vaccinations and increase efficacy of vaccinations, and that the science is actually the opposite. And I think what the agenda is, again, my concern about this is, and then again, there's a good researcher out there, Bill Alec, who likewise confirmed yesterday, after our show, Alex, that the most likely scenario is, because there's such incredible amount of investment in this scam, that the authorities are likely to release something or do something that is going to compel the expenditures and the use of the stockpile vaccinations, so that even that they would save face. I mean, you just mentioned a couple minutes ago that there's really nothing happening. And you know, they've hyped us all up, and they've spent these billions and billions of dollars to prepare us. And what's the likelihood? Is this just going to just go away? I don't think so. It's not likely. The more likely scenario is, I mean, I pray it will go away. I pray that nothing will happen, and I pray that the government would simply cease and desist based on the several litigations that have been filed, even in the United States now.
Well, Dr. Horowitz, look at the political landscape. Even Dick Armey has said he thinks Obama's using this hype to pass his eugenics health care. They need their new Bank of the World. Everything legislatively is coming up in the fall and winter. This is a perfect cover. And we know they're suddenly putting troops on the streets everywhere. The news reports are coming in. The amateur videos are coming in of Marines and Army searching people randomly. They're now medicalizing the police under federal grants to take citizens' blood. I mean, they're definitely built up to show that this isn't just some tabletop drill.
Right, and, you know, you look at the Wizard of Oz. Who's pulling the strings? And, you know, Sherry Kane can comment in detail on this Mr. Bird, who's in charge of the organization that's advancing healthcare reform in the United States, and his links to the Merck Pharmaceutical Company, SmithKline Beecham, all the drug industrialists.
Sherry, tell us about that.
Basically, Steve Bird, he's in bed with all of these other pharmaceutical companies, and they are all on the same campaign together to get their message out. I mean, you know, I want to go back to what Dr. Horowitz said about World War II. I mean, one of Hitler's most famous quotes was, "Make the lie big, keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it." So, I mean, this is part of what they're trying to do. They're brainwashing people into believing that there's this mass epidemic going on when there actually isn't any epidemic going on. It's being created by these people, and they're all pulling the strings. I actually am doing research, and so is Dr. Horowitz, on Rupert Murdoch, who is on the board. He's one of the top heads of the Partnership for New York City. And if you check out Partnership for New York City, you can link all the people on there. It's like a who's who. You'll see that there's people like the Thomas Glosser, who is the CEO, the director of Reuters. I mean, we know Reuters, right? The wire service. This guy is also the director of Merck Pharmaceutical. I mean, the same person that's out there controlling what we say is the same person that is manufacturing these viruses and these vaccinations.
And by the way, Sherry, did you see the Reuters article on September 16th? Flu experts gear up for pandemic vaccine worry. And they say, look, millions are going to die. They're going to think it was from the vaccine, but it's not. It's a mass diagnosis that, well, let me read it. 1 million heart attacks, 700,000 strokes, and 900,000 miscarriages. U.S. public health officials want Americans to know these will happen every year, whether we're out the swine flu vaccine campaign. Yet this year, they know a significant number will be blamed on the H1N1 vaccine, which will roll out within weeks, and they are struggling to be ready. So when we come back in the long segment coming up, I want you both to comment on this, because they're saying, look, a lot of people will take the shot, a lot of people will die, but it's not the shot.
We're on the mark. Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
Dr. Leonard Horowitz and investigative journalist Sherry Kane join us right now. You can go to fluscam.com to see the affidavit and see all the other research that Dr. Horowitz has. We're going to go back to them in just one moment. I did want to tell all the TV viewers that I consulted on this film. I am one of the main featured people in the film. So my detailed research on the FEMA camps, where they are, how they're run, how they're rolling out the military, Northcom, how they use sports stadiums under Operation Top Off, and their tabletop exercises in NLE 09. This is really a film I'm proud that I'm in, and I'm really proud of the job they did. For anybody that wants to know the truth about concentration camps in America and how they want to use pandemics and other excuses to roll it out and condition everybody to accept it, Camp FEMA, American Lockdown, is the film, ladies and gentlemen. It's available at Infowars.com. You can also get some of my other films at half price when you get them with Camp FEMA. And it is just an amazing documentary. I hope everyone will visit Infowars.com and order the DVD. We've been shipping it out since last week. In fact, we even got it first. We're shipping it before anybody. And these are sold out many other places. We happen to have them. So again, Camp FEMA American Lockdown that I consulted on and I feature massively in. Just an amazing job by William Lewis and Gary Franchi. And will we end up in these camps? See what the experts have to say. Camp FEMA boasts an all-star lineup of guests who have dedicated their lives, sacred honor, and fortunes to upholding the U.S. Constitution. The evidence is strong and their warnings are clear. Camp FEMA available at Infowars.com on the online video bookstore. You can also call toll-free 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. Or you can, again, also write to us. It's 1995, P.O. Box 19549, Austin, Texas 78760. Again, that's Infowars.com, P.O. Box 19549, Austin, Texas 78760. Camp FEMA, Endgame, Terror Storm, the Obama Deception, books, videos, all the best stuff I've seen out there. Not just my films are there. We also are now carrying Dr. Sherry Tenpenny's book, Foul, revised and updated. Bird flu, it's not just what you think, goes along the same line as the swine flu, understanding the police state, what the vaccines really do. That's available at Infowars.com as well. And she's joining us, by the way, on Thursday. Dr. Ron Paul is also on. I want to get back with Miss Kane and Dr. Horowitz here in just a moment. But first, Dr. Horowitz, You have tetrahedron.org. You have other sites, and you have researched this, and you have also a lot of fact sheets and other things about how to get your immune system up, how to protect your body. Tell us the best site to learn about your books, your films, your materials.
Well, the best preventative that I recommend is oxysilver.com, and the best place to order it is online at 888-508-4787. I'm sorry, for people who are not on the internet, they can call toll-free 888-508-4787. I don't worry personally. My family doesn't worry about the flu because we are covered by OxySilver. I urge people to learn about it because it's not just even a top-rated silver hydrosol. It goes way beyond. It takes people into, and actually is the first nutraceutical that actually brings you into the understanding of bioenergetics for protection, which is where we really should be going.
And I'm going to have you back up in the next week specifically on that, so people can go to fluscam.com and find that?